We're bringing you an update to an ongoing story. A group of families from the Vestal School District and their children rallied outside of a district meeting this evening in support of saving the field they play soccer on. This movement stems from the plan of the district's 2024 capital project, where residents voiced their concerns at a meeting last night over potentially losing the Ross Corners field, which is commonly used for school soccer leagues. 12 News spoke with Brian Gates, one of the coaches of the Vestal Youth Soccer Association, whose team regularly plays on the field, about how losing this field could affect youth soccer and soccer as a whole at Vestal.
It will hurt the soccer program very much. A lot of our players go to play varsity, JV, and modified lacrosse for the school. I don't think the program will be any good if they get rid of those fields.
12 News reached out to Chairman Dan Reynolds of Broome County's 5th District for more information on the field. Reynolds told 12 News the field was acquired from the school by a local family who intended it to be used for athletic purposes. At the meeting, a vote was made to postpone the transportation garage for more analysis and to look for other possible alternatives.